Hey guys, what's happening? Well, today we're kind of busy doing some stuff, and I was going to show you a little bit of where we're fixing to get started on our nitrous thing, but I did have one little piece of information that I thought might be a little bit interesting. This is a sheet of paper I printed out. That's very impressive. What it is it's from a calculator. Everyone plays with online calculators. Well, not everybody, but some people do. I don't play with them that much, but just out of curiosity, I mess with them from time to time. And I thought it would be interesting to go on one of the calculators that I use at Wallace Racing and just get some actual numbers from the Trojan horse. Since we know what it weighs, we know what it made on the dyno, theoretically, we know what ET it's run, and we know what mile an hour it's run. So you can put all those numbers in, and it'll give you, well, not the dyno number, but you can put in the weight, the mile an hour, and ET, and it'll give you a theoretical horsepower figure. Since we know what it made on the dyno, I thought it'd be interesting to see what it gave us. So I put in a weight of, and this also assumed, rear horsepower is assuming a 10% drivetrain loss. And the weight is as it sits on the line with the driver and gas in it. I put in 2850 for our race weight, which is probably pretty close. It was 2880, and swapping the tires is probably 30 pounds on the back. I put in our 735, and I put in 91.8. And the numbers were, the horsepower computed from our vehicle based on ET is 354 flywheel horsepower, and 319 rear wheel horsepower. Now, if you remember on the dyno, the car made 314 and 312 back to back, just changing the intake, which those are whatever. So that number's pretty close. I was a little surprised. I thought the dyno was a little bit high. I didn't think it actually made that much, but it is what it is. Now this is more telling also. The horsepower computed from our mile per hour is 342 horsepower and 308 at the tires. Now I think that's probably a little bit more realistic number. I still think that might be just a touch high, but I just thought that'd be interesting since we do know the weight, we have the best ET, and we have the best mile an hour, and this is for 8th mile, and we did have dyno numbers, so it's actually pretty close. The dyno was actually pretty close. I just thought that was something a little interesting, because I'm sure, well, I'm not sure because the video's not up yet, that when I put it up about the dyno, people will be like, oh, that's high. It is what it is. I don't honestly care what the dyno number is. I'm just there hanging out. So it doesn't matter to me what it makes on the dyno. It could have made 250 horsepower. I could have cared less. I just wanted to, I just like running the track. The ET is the only thing that matters. So anyway, that's that. So let's move on to something that may be a little bit more exciting, and I'm sure you guys have been waiting for, rather than listen to me drop my bottom jaw up and down and sounds come out of it. So anyway, let's move over to something else more interesting. All right, guys, this is it. The moment that a few of you have been waiting for. I've been dreading. Well, we're not to that moment yet, but we're taking the first steps on our path down destruction. This is like starting to become a drug addict. It's not good. It's probably fun at first, but then you realize you've done something wrong. So anyway, without further ado, this is going to be our nitrous system. Yay, crowd cheers. Okay, first off, let's look at a few things of what we got, what we paid for them, and see how much of a value or whatever we're doing here. So one of the things we got is this awesome arming switch. We got it from the junkyard out of a Camaro. Cost was $0, and that is totally awesome. It came out of an IROC. It's in the junkyard video. So we got this out of it. This actually came in a car I bought some years ago, and I just kept it. What we're going to use this for is for our purge, but we're not going to actually have a purge solenoid. We're going to purge through the motor, rev it up, 3,500, 4 grand, give it a bop, bop, bop to get it purged out. That's what this will be for. You guys have already seen the throttle switch. This is a relay that we got off of another car that is, well, I hope it works. We'll have to test it first, I guess, but it's already all done up. I just got to trim the wires and do the connectors. The hard parts of the kit are, this is a GT40 plate. It's a Big Shot, what's known as the Big Shot plate. One's pretty old. They've been around for a really long time. These plates go anywhere from, I think it was 150 to 300. Obviously, we will not be using that, the 300 or anything above 150, that's the number we'll be using, is 150. It's a wet kit. It has fuel and nitrous. The solenoids, I paid $60 for the plate and the lines. I paid $80 for these Nitrous Express solenoids. They both work. And I got some line. I also got, this is our feed line. This came with it. It's also number 6 line, not number 4 or -4, however you want to call it. It's number 6. So we got the solenoids, the brackets. It came with a nitrous filter. It came with this piece of line and a few other little pieces of line that we don't need, and we paid $80 for those. Now, it was missing some stuff, or some stuff was missing for us to kind of make this kit work. We've had it for a while, pieces of it off and on, and we were actually going to use on something else, but now the Trojan horse has presented itself, so it's going to end up with it. We bought these Ys right here. We bought 2 of them, one for the nitrous, one for fuel, and they were, I don't know, like $7 or $8 a piece. They're from China, but they were super cheap. If you've priced any of the NOS or nitrous, they're expensive. The other piece that we've got here is a 3-way, and what we'll do is this will go into the fitting that's in the Schrader valve now. We'll screw that in. We'll screw this on. We'll screw our fuel pressure gauge here. And it doesn't read accurately, so I don't even know why we're using it, but if it drops, we'll know something happened. So that'll be our fuel system. We've got Pirate loaned us a bottle. We bought some, you saw the brackets that we bought. We've also ordered a -6 bottle nut and a -6 gauge adapter. So that was $25 for the bottle nut and the gauge adapter. Pirate said we could go ahead and swap the gauge over. And so it was 20, right at 20 for brackets, 100, 160, we'll say 175, 180 something. So that's not bad. Oh, throttle switch. And of course some of this stuff I had laying around, and so that, so we're probably, 200, let's just call it 250. If we had to just buy it all, I guess we'd be right in that area, maybe 250. I don't know, the gauge would be a little expensive, but maybe we wouldn't run a gauge. We also don't have a heater. We did buy a bottle blanket. We found one used, and it was pretty cheap, or what I thought was a reasonable price, so we bought it. So this is what we've got. I just had it on this intake. I've had this little setup mocked up a couple different times, playing around with it. But the main thing we got to do is, first off, is seal everything up on the fuel side is what I'll initially do, and then I'll hook it into the rail, and we'll key the car and make sure we don't have any leaks. And we'll have the fuel side of it done, no leaks. We'll click the solenoids one time just to see if we get a spray and make sure everything's good there. The nitrous side is a little bit more difficult because in this area we can't get nitrous right now. We can't get it. It is like unobtainium. It is hard to find. Nobody really has it. Michael had to drive like 2 hours to get 2 bottles filled. Yeah, I should have told him to take this one and get it filled too. It's also $6 a pound since it's so hard to find. So that's, we're going to need a bottle for testing, and then we'll get it refilled or put a fresh bottle in for actual track use. We still got to buy plugs and a few other things. We also really need to pull the transmission out and do our couple little upgrades we need to do to it. So we got some stuff to do. We're not in a huge hurry to get this done, but we do need to get started on it. So there you go, guys. That's it. This is our nitrous kit. Some people ask why we do a dry kit. A dry kit would have been probably easier. I guess we could have bought a shark nozzle and some jets. We would have been into it for it would have been about an extra $100 or so to do a dry kit. And I already had this laying around, so I like the wet kits myself personally, especially when they're a plate. If I didn't really want to run a wet kit through a nozzle in the intake, and the dry kit, well, we would have had to just do some different stuff to make the dry kit work. think I said dry kit, but I meant a nozzle wet kit, and I just didn't want to take a chance. So I'm not really a power adder guy, so we'll see where this goes. But anyway, well, that's that. Let's get to work. Let's go. Where the hell's Jackie? Let's go find Jack and then get to work. He's been hanging out front and hanging around the shop and being a little bit of a troublemaker. So, all right. Well, we'll see you guys later. This is way too long, so we're out. Well, guys, as you can tell, we have not made any real progress on our nitrous kit. We've been busy doing some other things, but all is not lost because we have been, we got a few things. What have we got here? Oh, double packaged. Sweet. That's quality right there, bro. And what do we get? Well, we got a Ziploc bag with a thing that says "Thanks for choosing me." Okay. And we got a, this is our gauge adapter. Man, this guy must go through some Ziploc bags. This is our gauge adapter. It's pretty sweet. And, oh yeah. And in here should be another sandwich bag. And it's our, ooh, look at that. That's money right there, bro. That's cash money. All right, sweet. So we got a few more parts that'll help us out. Let's see what we got in here. Quick part. I know this is like super exciting for you guys. You're just like, yeah, whatever. Bunch of junk. And we got another thing. And we got this is old school Summit. It's just a little bottle blanket. It was relatively cheap, so to help keep our little bottle warm. So anyway, we didn't pay much for it. I think it was $25 shipped. So that's not in the smoking deal category, but it's in the not too bad category. So we'll take that. So anyway, that's what we got. We got a few little parts and pieces for our nitrous kit. Now we got we're still working on a few other little things on one of the other cars. So we're gonna get on top of this, I promise. We're hard at it. We've already worked on it just a tiny bit, but we're gonna get after it. So all right, we'll see you guys later. Bottle blanket, ready to go. So we'll be good now. Yeah, we're good. We finally got the bottle filled. I'd like to give a shout out to Huck's Automotive in Foley, Alabama. They hooked us up with that. They were actually going out of town and kept a guy behind so he could get our bottle filled, and that was really cool of them. $6 a pound, so we finally got some. I guess this will kind of wrap up this little video of, you've seen everything that we've got, the kit that we're going to be installing, and we've got, I think, all the parts that we're going to need. Now it's just a matter of getting it installed. So let me go round up Jack. You guys go get some tools, bring us a cold Mountain Dew, and let's get this weapon of mass destruction installed on the Trojan horse. And once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Now get out and go work on your car.